Hey guys, OJ here. Today I'm going to explain a bit more about Bitcoin and the halving process. We know that it's coming in July. And what exactly is that going to do? How is it going to affect? And why is everyone talking about the halving of Bitcoin? In order to explain the halving of Bitcoin and what exactly is that process, I need to first explain how is Bitcoin produced, how it's being mined. I know that many people don't quite understand why do we use the word mining and all of that. Basically, Bitcoin is a cryptocurrency, so it's digital algorithms and things that need to be programmed rather than mined. Is just the language that people started using from the very beginning, and that's how it goes. Now, the way Bitcoin is mined is through a lot of calculations and algorithms and programming stuff, geeky kind of stuff. But all of the information is being stored in something that is called a blockchain. It's a chain of servers, so to speak. And it's a blockchain. A new block is added to that blockchain every 10 minutes, because every 10 minutes, 50, originally it was 50, now 25 Bitcoins are being mined, and that's the capacity of each block in that blockchain. So a new block is added every 10 minutes. Now, originally, every 10 minutes, 50 Bitcoins used to be mined. And every 4 years, that is being halved. So every 4 years, you start getting half of the amount of Bitcoins being mined during that same time on that one block. So in 2012 was the first halving, and then from 50 Bitcoins we went down to 25 Bitcoins being mined every 10 minutes on every block. And now in July, it was going to be in August originally, but because of the demand being so high, it's going to happen a bit earlier. So it will be in July, in a few weeks literally. We're going to have the second halving. So now from 25 Bitcoins being mined every 10 minutes will drop down to 12.5. And why is that happening? Well, the main reason is that it was programmed from the very beginning to happen like that, so that it can fight deflation. Now, we know about demand and supply. We know that if a currency or any product, whatever it is not in demand, but it has a lot of supply, that will decrease the value, so it will deflate. And in order to guarantee that Bitcoin will not deflate in price, that strategy was adopted in the very beginning. Another reason is that Bitcoin is really trying to be not just a currency, but a commodity like gold. And just like gold, every time you mine more and more grams of gold, you have less and less resources left, so it becomes more and more valuable. It's the same thing with Bitcoin. They have a capacity of a total of 21 million Bitcoins that will be mined, and that will happen by the year of 2140, so none of us will be around. I think that's, yeah. So 21 million Bitcoins, and that capacity will be reached in 2140. So there's plenty of time for Bitcoin to grow and reach that figure. But more importantly, in July now, we're going to have that halving. So from 25 Bitcoins per 10 minutes, we will drop down to 12.5. And for everyone who is now worried a little bit how the price went down in the last couple of days, and it's actually going down a lot right now. It went down below the 600 point, which was unexpected. For everyone who is worried about that, all I can say is don't be worried. This is due to speculations. Now, the price was very high in the last few days, and it was not that was not just a typical jump of the price. It went up to $771. This was due to speculations. Now, what happened in 2012 is many people were not aware of Bitcoin at the time. So when that halving occurred, and from 50 Bitcoins we went down to 25 being mined, there wasn't a massive jump immediately in the price. The price stayed, this is 2012, the price stayed, it jumped a little bit, but it jumped from $6 to $12. So it was 100% jump. Not that much when we're talking in the little numbers. Then there was the massive jump in late 2013, I believe, early 2014, when it went to 1,000 and all of that. This was again speculating type of jump. And now we had another jump which was a little bit too high, and it was more than anyone predicted, but that was because of kind of in preparation for that halving, people started being aware already, and Bitcoin being quite popular right now. Many big corporations and governments, even the government of China, I know from a few articles, was buying Bitcoin. So we're talking about massive demand for Bitcoin in the millions. So this is what drove the price really high very quickly, because people were trying to secure as much volume as possible before that halving. And you can see on the screen different statements from all kinds of big names in the industry. This is basically, these are people responding to the question, what is your prediction for Bitcoin for the next year or two? And now I see a lot of $10,000 per Bitcoin quotes, but I'm not exactly sure if we can really trust that prediction. I mean, I think it's quite realistic to look at the 2,000 to 4,000 mark, maybe even 5,000 very soon. But I wouldn't really expect it to go up to 10,000 in the next year or two. So the first scenario of what could happen is that the price will go really up and will get really high. It will surpass that mark. Of course, it will probably go over 1,000. Some people, suggest that it will quickly reach $2,000. Now, this is very possible because, of course, when you have less Bitcoins mined over the same period of time, that means that the supply is half of what was prior to that event. But there is a second scenario, and it's very interesting because no one knows exactly what's going to happen, because the second scenario is that people who bought Bitcoin here at these prices, or even a couple of years ago when the prices were around $200 and even before that, they might have waited for that time when the price will go really high, and now they're selling. Which means that even though the supply is less, if all of these people start selling their Bitcoins in order to make a decent profit, that still produces enough supply to meet that demand, which means that the price might not really jump that suddenly. So the price could easily be just steady for another 6 months or a year or something like that. But I think this will only be for a period of time until all of these people sell that volume that they own currently. And until that supply meets the demand, the price could hold steady, but at some point the demand will become higher than the supply. And we will see that happening when more and more merchants start accepting Bitcoin, more and more people start using it as a currency, and that will drive, of course, the demand higher. So in the long term, we are definitely looking at an increase of the price of Bitcoin. In the short term, we can't quite tell whether it's going to be a sudden drastic jump, or is it going to be a steady and slow growth, and it might take more than a year or something like that. So my advice is, if you have money that you just keep as savings, this is the money that you can put into Bitcoin. But if you are buying Bitcoin with money that you're earning right now and you need it in the next month or two, maybe it's not the best idea to put all of your money in Bitcoin. I'm putting as much as I can because for me, I treat it as savings. I treat it as a long-term saving account, so to speak, account that will have such an interest rate that no bank will be able to match it. But of course, we're talking about money that you don't really need at your disposal on a daily basis. There are a couple of cryptocurrencies that are coming up that will create a bit of competition for Bitcoin. So I don't know if the 10,000 figure is exactly what's going to happen, but I think we are definitely looking at 2,000 to 5,000, sort of something somewhere there. So with that in mind, I think Bitcoin is quite a good investment to be making right now, even though I'm not supposed to be talking about investments and I'm not allowed to be recommending for you how to invest or anything like that. So I'm just advising that Bitcoin is something that you can look into. So have a look into Bitcoin, do your research. Don't just listen to me, do your research and make sure that you find all of the information that you need in order to make your decision whether to go with Bitcoin or not. I'm not making anything out of it. I'm not giving you any referral links or anything like that. So this is me just discussing the matter and kind of thinking, this is what I'm doing. I'm trying to be transparent, and with all of the people that are following me, I don't know if you can hear the thunder outside, but it's raining in torrents. For people who are following me and who respect my opinion, I want to just make it clear that right now my interest and my focus is purely on Bitcoin. Now there are a couple of other cryptocurrencies that are becoming, big, and we start hearing a lot about them, like Ethereum, like Litecoin, and even OneCoin, even though many people from the cryptocurrency world don't really look seriously at OneCoin because at the moment it's still just a company. But I think there is a serious possibility that these currencies will give a bit of a competition to Bitcoin once they become a bit more popular and stronger. So these are also some that we can look into later on. For the moment, I'm just going to leave it here, and we're going to see what's going to happen after that halving occurs. It's only a couple of weeks from now, so I'm going to do another update, possibly closer to the date. Thanks for watching this, and I'm going to see you in my next video.